Hey guys, welcome aboard. If you're brand new, welcome back if you're not, and welcome home if that sits for you. Today we want to do what's coming up for the next 10 days. I have 3 piles we're going to work on. The first is a whale tail, right? I got it on a trip to the Pacific Northwest, on which I actually saw whales, so I love it. The second is a turtle. This is a turtle that belonged to my no longer here friend, Anna, who is absolutely, I'm sure, reigning in the between life state, or perhaps who knows where she is, but this belonged to her, and he's amazing too. And then I have my beautiful carnelian elephant, which was a gift from a dear family member, and it's a treasure, right? Yeah, a treasure. So as always, if you feel very drawn to any of these, you may absolutely hit that timestamp right now. What we're going to do next is gather our oracle cards. At that time, who knows, sometimes we get some good messages for everyone who's here. So we might do that today, but we will gather our oracle piles and then we'll go through each one and draw some tarot. So again, this is about the next 10 days, allowing, as always, your intuition to drive the magic of this reading. Extrapolate that into your life as you choose. 1, 2, and 3. In just a second, we're going to grab those oracles. All right, so let's get into pulling these oracle cards. Like I said, sometimes we get some great messaging, sometimes we don't. It's all good either way. I always debate whether I should talk or whether I should be quiet during this part. Whoa. Well, here's what we're going to do. Since it was 3, I'm just going to take them like they came out. I think today I'm going to be quiet. Okay. Well, well, well. All right, so Mercury in Aries, how exciting is that as a general message, right? Especially for people who would be here listening to this. Okay, so let's talk about that. Mercury is all about communications, right? But more so, right? Mercury is also about the between, right? Mercury was the energy that was allowed to go down into Hades and rescue Persephone, right? So he is the go-between. He is able to exist in that liminal space, right? Which means simply what lies between, right? The event horizon. Mercury is comfortable there. And the concept that Mercury is simply about expression, I think is a little underrated for the capacity that Mercury has. And in Aries, right? Aries is that primary sign, that inception energy, the first, the foremost, the I am. So the way that you take up space as the bridge between, right? Between 3D and 5D, which is a beautiful validation for me personally, based on something that I'm working on right now. Hopefully that is for you. The thing that I will say about this is if you're looking at undertaking a creative, expressive project, right? So if you're thinking about writing a book or doing something, writing a song, auditioning for a play, right? Anything that's going to utilize your creative juice to put something into the world, right? Artistically, that might mean something to someone else. That restlessness, right? It's found in both the mercurial energy and in the Aries energy, right? The unwillingness to sit still, the ability, right, to get from place to place quickly. There is a brilliance to Mercury in Aries, right? The key is, will you choose the follow through? Will you choose the dedication and devotion to the spark, right? Aries being a fire sign. Fire signs are great about ideas. A great idea requires devotion. A great idea requires that you stop and give time to its germination. That you oversee the birth process, that you guide it as it's in infancy, and that you choose to put the time in to your idea, not just cheerlead and run away, right? Not just set a fire and run off, which is, that kind of arsonist tendency is very prominent in Aries energy. So if the key word here is restlessness, I will then say to you, that's beautiful. It's brilliant to have the concept of these ideas. However, it's also required that you be willing to give your energy to what comes next, right? In terms of having a baby and just leaving it, the baby needs tending, right? Even in utero, that baby needs things that those cells require. Things, right? Nothing grows on its own. So if you have a brilliant idea, make sure that if you're going to call it into action, that you require yourself to have the devotion, the dedication to put forth. Yeah, but man, mind those brilliant ideas because they're worth something. Okay, we now have 1, 2, and 3, right? Fully 1, 2, and 3. So here's what I will say to you. please allow your intuition to do the work of magic, right? The pile will choose you. And if you choose more than one, that's okay. It's all right. You can listen to all three piles and just direct yourself to whatever message is for you. Go ahead and do that. So pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. I'm going to give you a few seconds to sit with that, and then I will see you in your reading or readings. Hey, pile number 1, welcome back. Okay, so those of you who chose this gorgeous whale tail, absolutely. I'm going to put it right over here. Yeah, it won't hurt a thing. All right, so let's get busy. Let's get into your messages, shall we? You start with, sorry, there's a sparrow on my window ledge. Hi, baby. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. Sorry, I'm completely distracted. Birds, I can't help it. Feast of Plenty. Okay, look at this card, right? This glorious sphere in the midst of so much choices and their consequences. So we have this beautiful, brilliant sphere with 2 swords and this gorgeous crystal embedded and this bee, right? Implying plenty. And then this consequence. Brilliant, right? So this card is about options and blessings, right? And the way that we choose our satisfaction. It really asks you to be mindful of whether you're choosing something new or whether you're letting your past inform your choice in the present. You know, that can be a dangerous thing, right? When all of the things that we have are simply the choice we made yesterday. So this, what happens today. So if your past is informing your present, right? Remind yourself, this card is a message to remind yourself that you have nothing but options, right? You can choose and re-choose again. You don't have a limited number of choices in life. You have infinite choice because you are an infinite being and an infinite creator, right? So make sure that you're mindful, but make sure that you're choosing. Make sure that you're choosing. If these birds keep landing on my window, you guys, I'm so excited by them. They're so sweet. I feel like they're little visitors. Okay. The map maker of destiny, authentic purpose, inspiration, and free will, right? Lovely. So this is a card that really talks about just what it says, your purpose, your inspiration, and your free will, right? This reminds you that you are here with specific purpose, right? Like you came in to do a thing. You came in to fulfill a destiny, to walk a path, to be in your mission, your purpose, right? It's your topography. It's your map. It's your destiny. It's your will. It's your fate. You have chosen them all. And the fact of the matter is, what it's speaking to for the next 10 days is that you might have a situation in your life that feels like it was fated, right? You might have someone in your life, whether they feel like they're there as a blessing or as a challenge, right? I mean, it might feel like a curse to you, but either way, what you're being reminded of right now is you made that choice, right? You made that choice somewhere in your planning stages, right? Your higher self is making that choice right now. So if you can witness the pattern outside of the person or the circumstance, right, then you have plenty. And remember, you have the choice. You always have the choice. Hey guys. You have a 2024 right here. That's wild. So, okay. presence, right? Be present. Remember that all of this is perfect. Again, perfect. Learn what you need to learn, and then you can move on, right? Easily, all the time. Look at you. Okay, so this is correspondent to the Ace of Wands in this particular deck. So new vitality, right? This is talking about potential. So whatever this is that's coming in, recognizing it as potential, right? Inspired potential. This is an elevated vibration. This is a new perspective. This is new energy, new possibilities. And again, this could be something within yourself or something that's coming from someone else. Regardless of the nature of its arrival, this is again another fated, universal, cosmic blessing. And how are you willing to witness it as a blessing, right? Since it came from you to you, right? Be inspired by what's coming. You are the map maker of your destiny. So whether you're giving yourself a feast or what feels like consequences, it's up to you to choose wisely again, right? Oh, look at that. Okay, so you have the Musician from the Citadel deck. Now, this talks about celebration in the now, right? What is the song that you're singing right now? The Musician has the capacity to take any situation, circumstance, or relationship and create it as art, right? So the artful creation of the song of your life. Now think about that for a minute. This again speaks to the fact that every circumstance, every situation, every relationship in your life is not only purposed but blessed. Oh, hello, baby girl. My goodness, are you gracing this reading today? Thank you so much. Well, you have had the royal blessing here. Thanks, Miss Zoo. I love you. Anyway, wow. So whether these circumstances of your life feel like a blessing or a curse, you can create it in the form and fashion, the expression of exactly what you want, right? All of it is for you. All of it comes at your request. And I'll tell you what, that's a hot topic. But once you get to that place where you're willing to, regardless of why, if you're willing to take responsibility for the way you're showing up, right, in terms of what is showing up, then you also agree to have the power to change it. So lovely, right? So there might be some revelations in your experience in the next 10 days. Pile number 1. Oh, look at that. So you have Mars in Aries, right, to go along with Mercury in Aries. So this is really authenticity in terms of your expression. Mars in Aries is about being a pioneer, right? It's about following those impulses, right? If this is restlessness, that restlessness inspires you to action. If this is, whatever's going on here has got me feeling a certain kind of way, I'm going to take action. I'm going to follow my heart, right? I'm going to lead myself into that next phase. Brilliant, beautiful. This gives you the energy to move through whatever these lessons are. The way that you're creating the story, this puts the action underneath that story, which is, pretty beautiful in my opinion. Ooh. Okay. So you have the 6 card in the Archetypes deck. Okay. I like seeing the whole thing. They're such beautiful cards. The Mentor. Interesting. So this card is about the way you approach these things, right? So the Mentor is about holding space, right? It's about the way that you stimulate a situation. So if we're talking about the circumstances and relationships in your life, the Mentor card asks you to look at the way that you are approaching those things. The key here is that you have to approach them as a learner. You have to approach them as a novice, right? The master-novice cycle in life is really indicated in the way that we choose to witness our circumstances, right? And there comes a point in time where you have to accept the fact that sometimes you're going to be the teacher and sometimes you have to be the learner. And the fact is that you're both. You are always both, right? In terms of how you're creating your, how you've created your destiny, then you have to show up and respond. How you witness your feast of plenty, then you have to be the chooser, right? How you respond to those things that come into your experience, then you have to find the right, air quoting right, there's always the right way. You have to choose the way you're going to react to it. Are you going to elevate it? Or are you going to witness it as some kind of, experience that drags you down, experience that anchors you, an experience that creates weight and gravity to the moment that you're in, so much so that you end up stuck there. And the fact of the matter is, you can do either of those things, right? Those are both okay. It's about how you then choose to react when something new comes in, right? You have 2 Aries cards here. So this is about choosing. This is, and look, I mean, I just want to say, like, the Aries glyph, right, is that ram. This is kind of an echo of that in my vision. I like it. You know, I didn't even notice too. Here you have pipes and the musician. You have a lot. Oh, and look. Okay, so you have a lot of inception energy here, my friends. And if you really want to get there, well, no, we'll just let that go. Anyway, there's a lot going on here for you. That's really talking about this next 10 days. The other thing that I do want to say is that the mentor adds an element of needed humility, right? When we talk about that novice master cycle, part of the problem when you get to mastery is that you decide, or you can, right? You can decide, what's going on. So you don't have to be open to what comes. You don't have to be open to the fact that you might not know everything. So there is a deep element of humility here. The antidote, by the way, for that humility is gratitude. If you constantly are in mind of the way that you're choosing gratitude in any given situation, you kind of sidestep that concept of humility as a concerning factor, because when you're in gratitude, you really can't hold the space of anything else. You know, you can't hold that arrogance, that oh no, I know that. You know, you have to be in that beginner's mindset if you're in gratitude, because you're witnessing something as coming in for you, right? You're coming from that place of this comes from something greater than myself, and I am grateful for the choice, for the opportunity to be in choice, for the opportunity to have the steerage, right? Even though I recognize that the journey is mine, I welcome, right? I welcome what comes. I welcome what comes. I welcome what comes as an opportunity, right? As my lesson, as my awareness, as my deepening. All right, 5 of Swords, conflict. 8 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles is that devotion card, right? That card that allows you to stay in the moment, that reminds you, this is what you're doing now. This is what you're doing now. This is what you're doing now, right? This is the card that goes between beginner and master. This is how we get to mastery, and it's just through practice. It's just through that deep sense of devotion when it comes to what it is that's coming for you. right? So you have also, so you've got a little conflict there. You have the Two of Wands and the Lovers. But this is really creating your destiny, right? And let's talk about the Lovers. The Lovers is a card of choice. Ultimately, this is about how we surrender to the concepts that the divine puts in front of us, right? The Lovers certainly can be that beautiful, brilliant energy of a pair, a divine pair. But the Lovers can also be a choice in your life. And whether or not, right, sitting next to the Two of Wands, whether you choose that elevated choice or whether you choose the less. And here's the deal. It's not about less, because both choices that present, as we talked, are perfect choices. You can't make a wrong choice. You can just make a choice that you wish to remake. And then you can, right? So the way that you choose that. So you might be feeling some kind of sense of limitation when it comes to your choices. I think what you're being reminded of here, pile number one, is that no matter what you've come to believe, no matter what has been, Two of Cups again, look at you. Okay, let's take a second here. Let's just take a second. So no matter what you've come to believe, right? No matter what the universe has gifted you thus far in terms of the education of your life to date, something is coming in that's going to speak to a different way of doing. You're being given an opportunity to choose differently. And the opportunity is going to come in something that's mundane, right? It's not going to be this grand, oh my goodness, like it's not a UFO flying overhead. I mean, it might be. If it is, please, please put that in the comments and take some pictures, because I want to hear all about that. But if your opportunity comes in a small form, right? All it takes is a tiny thing to break your mind wide open. Here's the deal. When it comes, don't look away from it, right? The Queen of Swords says, it doesn't matter. If you know the thing, you know the thing, right? If you feel the thing, you feel the thing. If you experience the thing, you experience the thing. Now, what happens is, it gives you a whole brand new way to make the choice, right? And then, look at that. You have the Ace of Swords, which comes in as something entirely new, something that you have never experienced before, right? Something that moves you out of conflict and into this energy that says, why, yes, we know exactly what it is that we're supposed to be doing. Why, yes, we know exactly how to elevate our choice-making skills, right? So this might be something in your own personal intuition. This might be something that asks you to create. Like, here's the deal, pile number one. If any of you are like musicians, you might get some brilliant inspiration to write a song. And it might just come in all at once, right? It might. And if that's the case, I think that's awesome. Link me on your SoundCloud. I want to hear it. Anyway, so what it's going to do is hone your decision making. However it is that you have made your choices in the past, however it is that you've chosen to follow your path, to say yes to the things that are presented to you, this next 10 days is going to bring you to a new level of that yes, right? Whatever that is, however that yes feels, looks, smells, sounds for you, however you learned that you're going to direct the universe. Like, I have a girlfriend who says, I asked the universe to give me a sign in my toe. And guess what? She is an amazing medium. And that's how she learned to hone her gifts. She asked for something that was contrary to the things that you would hear. And that is her sign, right? That is her sign that she's there, that the people who are coming to speak through her are present. So ask for what you want. You're writing this song that is your existence, right? Don't get caught up in the I know. Instead, get caught up in the thank you, right? Witness as the song comes, because listen, you have these amazing wands and cups, right? This is the way that we are inspired, the way that we feel. And then you have this brilliant Lover's card pairing in this little quartet of goodness over here that says just practice, just practice, just practice. Keep practicing, right? Keep practicing, because you've already preloaded all the gifts that you have. You know what you're here to do. Yeah, I just felt every one of you go, no, I don't, Eileen. Well, guess what? You do. It's just the stuff that you keep telling yourself that allows you to believe that you don't, right? So get all that crap out of the way. Strip it out of the way and witness the teeny tiny little pieces of message that come in. And at that point, there is no way you can disbelieve, right? There's no way you can disbelieve at that point. At that point, you have to lean in and say, why, in fact, you're right. I do know. Why, in fact, it might sound a little crazy, but I know what I know, right? So my advice to you then is to know what you know like you know it. And by the way, that means act on it, act on it, act on it, act on it. But do it in such a way that you leave room for the divine to continue your conversation. Steering, right? It's a trillion tiny course corrections that lead you in every moment, right? In every moment. And the other thing that the other thing that I do want to say is, if some of you are trying to choose whether or not a person is right for you, I think you're getting a real clear yes here, or at least an offering by the universe to follow it and see what happens, right? I have clients who will say, well, I don't know if it's right or not. Well, you're never going to know until you give it a shot, right? Why would you say, no, thank you? No, I don't think we should go out because I'm not sure you're right for me based on a coffee date. No, give it a little more time, man. Give it a little more time. This popped out, so we're going to take it. But the card I'm looking for is this. This is a general thing, so it just jumped. So we're going to see. Oh, okay. So High Priestess. So again, this is about intuitive development. End of story, right? So whatever it is that you're doing in terms of developing your intuition, get out of your head about it. Please and thank you, says the universe. We have been, oh yeah, baby. We have been offering you this, that, and the other. You see who you got, right? The best, right? The best. Yeah. So if your idea is to make the leap, y'all. Make that leap. So in the next 10 days, what I think is that, well, in the next 10 days, what I know is that you're going to be offered a new way to experience your intuition. It might feel out of alignment with the way that you've done things in the past. However, that doesn't make it wrong. And the fact of the matter is, if you choose to lean in, it might create some absolutely amazing results in your life. The key, right, is to devote yourself to it. You can't ask for a thing from the universe and then just say, whoa, it's shown up, but I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get it, Eileen. It doesn't feel like I thought it was going to feel. Well, of course it doesn't. What does in the beginning stages, right? You can't expect something to come in fully perfected. No. When you learned to walk, you fell a whole bunch, right? When you learned to write your name, you didn't do it so well at first. When you learned to ride a bike, you probably fell off a time or 3. All of those things. Expect to be a beginner. Expect to be a beginner. Put yourself into motion. Put yourself into action. And override your impulsive nature that says, I'm not perfect right off. I can't do this. It's just too hard. No. The universe says, if you just give yourself time, be in gratitude. Oh, thank you for this inspiration. Oh, thank you for this awareness. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for the opportunity to practice. Thank you for every opportunity that's brought to me to hone this skill, right? I get better and better every day. Look what it brings me. Brand new opportunity all the time, right? Brand new opportunity all the time. Okay, here it is. Look at that. So I decided today that I was going to grab message cards. I don't usually do this at the end, but I'm doing it today. I am in the perfect position to get there from here, right? Nothing has to change in your environment or in the circumstances that surround you for you to begin to deliberately allow your own connection to the stream of well-being. You are in the perfect place right now to begin. Well. I think you've got your work cut out for you, pile number 1. I kind of love it, though, because what a brilliant thing, right? Just remember, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Just come back to the beginning and say, oh, thanks, I'll do this again. Oh, thanks, let me do this again. Oh, thanks, let me do this again, right? The opportunity will keep coming. Oh, thanks, let me do this again. Oh, thanks, right? And what comes next? Boy, it's going to be brilliant. Listen to me. Hit like, hit subscribe, come back, let me know how it goes. If this is where we part, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you being here. And if you're going on with me, I'll see you in the next pile. Hey, pile number 2. Welcome. Those of you who chose this fabulous turtle. He's so cool. He really is cool, by the way. Let's put him over there. Let him watch. All right. Next 10 days for you, my pile number 2s. Let's get right in, shall we? Will-o'-the-wisp. Treasures hidden in the shallows. Wow. Okay. A Star is Born reference. Go listen to the song if you need to. In the shadows. Treasures hidden in the shadows. Right. Okay, so this card is about where you find magic, right? Where you find, not even necessarily magic, where you find anything, right? This is about epiphanies. This is about those revelations, those aha moments. This is also about things that come back to you. Things that come back. So things that you have said no to in the past. Things that you have refused. Opportunities that came in and they just didn't feel... Here's the deal. The difference is these are about opportunities that didn't feel safe to you. That didn't feel... let me explain it. Things that don't feel right are different. Things that don't feel right, things that don't feel aligned, things that don't feel like they resonate with you. That's a whole different story than what this card is referring to. This card is referring to things that didn't feel safe, things you were really attracted to, but said no to anyway. And the fact of the matter is, your no at that time was the right choice, but it's coming back, right? This is coming back, and you're being asked to choose again in light of understanding that your safety, the safety that you choose from, right? You stand over there and go, that is a risk. I am just not not sure, right? That kind of choice where you're like, boy, I really just, I just don't think it's the right thing, right? Here's the deal. Where you're standing is an illusion. If you're choosing from that place of safety cloaked in fear, right? If it's non-resonant, it's not resonant. But if it's resonant and you're just afraid to choose it, that's the arena of this card. And the bottom line is, you are being asked to choose again, right? And choose out of trust. Choose out of the yes, right? Choose out of that might be a miracle. Oh, I see why I was unable to choose it last time, because I was afraid. Well, I'm still afraid, but I'm going to do it, right? This is the invitation to move anyway, right? To move anyway, which is a big deal, right? Do you trust it? Do you trust the universe? Do you trust your journey? Maybe. Well, look at that. Okay, so you have the wise woman of Wonderland, right? Integrity and compromise. Interesting, because again, this is about faith, right? Are you truly being aligned with your opportunities as you have scripted them? Or are you compromising your authenticity because of fear, because of concern for a consequence to a relationship with someone else, right? Perhaps, right? Maybe even loyalty. The thing is, what are you doing, right? What is it that you're avoiding? And the answer is, you're avoiding the truth of your journey. The compromise here is key, right? Compromise. So both of these cards speak to the way that you have chosen in the past that you're getting a second chance on in this coming up 10 days. Okay, find balance. So this card correlates to the Two of Pentacles, right, which is about multitasking. It's about finding your own solid footing and then trusting that footing as you move through whatever it is that's happening, right? So this could be a time of increased effort. It could be a time of increased demands on your system. The key here is adaptation, right? Understanding that if you're grounded, if you're making your choices and the references that are coming in for you, if you're making those things from solid footing, well, increased effort is okay. Increased demands is okay, because you understand that you've got this, right? Adapt, overcome. Adapt, overcome. So what you're being given an option is to recognize your growth, recognize your potential here in light of this thing that's coming back to you, where you get to say, wow, okay, I'm ready this time. Maybe I wasn't ready before, but I see how I'm ready now. Oh, look at that. Okay, the Hunter. Now, this is another card of focus, right? Sure-footedness, predestination, right? This is another card of focus. So the Hunter requires laser focus, right? The way that you're choosing, the way that you're grounded, the way that you're willing to witness a thing is the way that you're going to be able to move toward it. Now, here's the deal. If you're looking at this goal and that's all you're looking at, and you're missing all of the experience around it, you might want to pay attention to how it is that you can do the things and still be in the moment, right? All of these things. What are you compromising? What are you refusing in your life? You can be nose to the grindstone and get a lot of results and miss the whole experience. Or you can be, looking around at the scenery and drive right off the road. So you're being asked right now to tame and balance, right, your restlessness, your ADHD tendencies. And I say that as someone with no executive function, right? So, I'm in the process of healing my ADHD. You can too, right? You can too. It's really just a matter of where you are. What are you present as? Hold on just a second. Sorry, had to sneeze. So where are you present, right? What are you missing out on by choosing a focus that might not be all-encompassing? What are you missing? Where are you looking away? And what is that costing you, right? So in the next 10 days, you will find an opportunity to have a big, broad viewpoint, right? Which is a beautiful thing. Come on. Sun in Aries. Pile number 1 got Mars in Aries. So we now have Mercury, the Sun, and Mars all in Aries. I'm really interested to see what comes up in pile number 3. So the Sun in Aries, right? This is the inception. It's the very beginning, the very first primary energy of the zodiac. And so this talks about source. This talks about birth. This talks about the way that we make choices as the action of I am, right? This is calling forth and crystallizing the energy of the I and the am, right? Which is fun. I kind of like it. The key here is action. This is about action. So where Mercury in Aries can kind of have a lot of ping, 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 right? This is the doer. This is the action of the energy of I am. Asserting oneself. So whatever it is over here, you get the power to rein that into the point of creation, the point of action, the point of doing, right? Which is brilliant for you guys. And then you get the Mother. Look at that. Look at that. So you get the 1 card, the number 1 card in this cool Archetypes deck, which I love. So this is source, right? So this echoes again, you are the chooser, you are the source. Now the key here is to mind the concept again of balance, right? Because that source energy can overblow itself, right? Source energy gives, but there could be a tendency to cling, right? Source energy teaches, but then there's a demand for conformity, right? Source energy creates, but it also creates boundaries and restrictions. How are you in your own boundaries, right? We talked about these as things that you might be missing because you're so set on this. It must be this way. I have to do it like this, right? This offers you a lot of play, a lot of flow in what you're doing. Given that this energy is so brilliantly feminine, and you have, right, these energies here that are super in flow. And even the 2 of Pentacles is about flow, right? How are you able to flow within your focus? Right? That's a big opportunity for you. In the next 10 days, my friends, in pile number 2. So however you wanted to do that, however you feel like you're going to make choices, make sure that you're contemplating, is this in flow, right? Is this not just relevant and resonant for me, but does it feel like the right thing? Does it feel good? Does it feel like a yes in my body, right? Does it feel like a yes in my mind? Does it feel like a yes in my soul? And the way that you choose those answers will inform the experience of what it is that you're going to choose, no matter what it comes to. And just remember, what are you ignoring? Pay attention to the answer that is a no. Pay attention to why it's your no. And understand it. If you understand the process of why it's your no, yeah, absolutely, of why it's your no, then you're in alignment. Hello. Not too many. Then you're in alignment with what the universe is directing you toward. And by the universe, we simply mean you, right? Okay. The Hierophant, the King of Cups. Definitely talking about your inner GPS. Right? And where you feel that as a conflicted energy, right? So the Hierophant is about tradition, ritual, the things that you've been taught. So perhaps the reason that you choose your focus is simply because that's what you were told, right? Well, guess what? As a grown-up, we know that's not really okay. It's not okay to say, that's just how I do that. That's just what I know to be true. That's what my mom said. That's what the church said. That's what my teacher said. That's what my neighbor said. That's what my girlfriend said. That's what my boyfriend said. That's what my best friend wanted me to do. No. None of those work, right? None of those are okay. None of those are a good reason to do or think or believe anything. It has to come from you. You have the King of Cups saying to you, trust your instinct. Trust what satisfies your answer, right? Trust the way you feel, not the way you've been told to feel, or the way that you've been told that you feel, because that's a real thing, right? There are people in your life who absolutely will tell you they know how you feel. They know. And if you start to believe that kind of gaslighting, then you become completely out of touch with what it is that you feel. You might have forgotten how, in fact, to feel because you've been numbed out. Your system has been desensitized, right? Detached from your own personal inner GPS. You don't even understand why you've said no to these things. You just said no because you knew you were supposed to, air quoting, knew you were supposed to, right? And that creates a conflict within you. Certainly it does. It creates a space where you say, wait, what? I had no idea. I had no idea that I could say no to that, right? And that could be a challenge. That could be a very, that could be a hard thing. In fact, that could create a whole lot of dissent within you, like that cognitive dissonance. Like I believe this is true, but I feel like this is true. I think this, but I feel this, right? Well, guess what? When you have the Five of Swords and the Nine of Swords, along with the Knight of Swords, this says to me, it's your brain that's kind of in the way, right? Your brain has been in the way for a while. The outside is telling you one thing, but your inside is telling you something else. And what is it that you're going to listen to? Well, I mean, you have some stubborn go energy. You also have the reassurance that what it is you believe has legs, right? The Empress goes right along with this amazing feminine energy in here that says, hey, Trust your gut, right? Even your king, right? And we don't talk in terms of gender, but king is that energy of mastery. This is mastery of your own emotional state without conflict, right? Without conflict. Even though you've been told this is not okay to believe. Well, guess what? There might be some people in your life who are offering you a different perspective, right? Even if it creates a little bit of push for you, even if it creates a little bit of discomfort, even if these ideas that you're being exposed to within the next 10 days create for you some major cognitive dissonance, you're being given the space to examine them, right? This is womb space. This is the space of source. Head to source and make some inquiries, right? What is this in my soul? Where do I feel this? What is authentic to me? What have I always done in the past? And how can I question that now? Right? Well, guess what? You can question it. You simply have to, right? 3 of Cups. Celebration. You simply have to make the choice, even if you approach it as a simple thought experiment, right? Thought experiment, Knight of Swords. Oh, let me see where this takes me. Let me see what happens as a result of this thought. Let me play the what if game in my own head. What would happen if I had chosen that back then? Okay, I wasn't ready, but now I feel like this is the right thing to do. What do I do? Well, I seek out assistance. I seek out a little bit of advice, perhaps. I choose a collaborator. I make my stand, right? I make myself as solid as possible so that I don't have to question anymore, because I've understood that the balance between focus and action, between between presence and surroundings, is me, right? That's your experience. And so in saying yes to the experience, you have to say yes to the whole experience. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You are all of the surroundings and the pearl within. You're all of it. All of the layers are you. All of the actors are you, right? All of the doubts, all of the conflict can be resolved with one unifying thought. Oh, I get to choose. Let me choose something new, right? Let me choose something that I've thought about, right? 4 of Cups. Let me stop and take stock of what it is before I act. And when I act, then I will be acting with certainty. I will be acting as an actor in my own highest and best, right? I will definitely be choosing my path, and it will lead me to miracles. It will lead me to everything, right? The Empress brings you everything, right? She is that mother energy. And she, by the way, is the fertile ground and the seed that is planted. So you can't go wrong, right? You can't go wrong here, as long as you are choosing your own integrity. So for you, pile number 2, I would like, all right, okay. For you, my pile number 2s, the next 10 days is going to be about reassessing your intake system, right? Finding ways to ground yourself and very comfortably, right? Comfortably, without this conflict, choose to find your voice. Choose to find your fertile ground, right? The way that you unearth these old things, these old beliefs, these old thoughts, these old ruts, right? Getting out of a rut is what you're doing, pile number 2. And that rut right? It might be really deep. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be really deep. It's just a thing that you're going to get to think of in a brand new way. Three of Swords. Okay, so this also could be a brilliant way that you're healing from something, right? So be open, ready? Be open to the fact that something happened and you concluded that it was XYZ. It happened to me. It was this thing, and I had no control over it. And this person or this situation or this circumstance just created turmoil in my life. Well, I'm going to invite you to a different perspective. Can you witness that as I chose the experience that would bring me to this lesson, right? I planted the seed and I said the things that I said. I chose the path I chose. And maybe I was very consciously choosing to be unaware of the circumstances, unaware of the potential consequences. And now I get to make my choices with this awareness, with this healing in mind. If that sits for you, rock and roll. If you don't like it, you're under no obligation to pick that up. At any rate, you're going to make new choices based on a wider awareness of what's coming for you. Based on the way, okay, got you. Based on the way that, oh, yeah. Based on the way that you're bringing things to your life, right? There'll be less of a possibility that you don't see a thing coming from here on out because you're widening your awareness. You're opening your eyes, right? All of them in new ways, right? Brilliant. I am becoming consciously aware of my inner being. Certainly you are, pile 2. We refer to that non-physical you as your inner being or your source. It's not important what you call that source of energy or life force, but it is important that you are consciously aware of when you are allowing a full connection to it and when you are restricting it in some way. Well, I mean, I think we just spent a lot of time talking about it. So again, this is about that deepened connection, that deepened awareness of where you are on every level at any given moment, right? Swords are ideas. Swords are ideas. Swords are ideas, right? And so when you're feeling like you're getting close to overwhelm, when you're feeling like I don't want to do this anymore, I need to put this down, put it down. Put it down. Look in a different direction. Witness what perhaps the release of a burden allows you to do, right? See how it feels in a new way. And also witness that you are always choosing the balance within a situation. You're choosing your perspective. What you miss is what you miss. But understand that when you grow, it circles back and then you have to deal with it, right? You can't just shelve a thing. It's always going to come back to you. You're choosing the fact that you are all of it, all at once, right? You get to witness that wider, higher perspective because it's all you and it's always for you, right? Ooh, pile number 2. That feels like a lot for 10 days. But you know what? I think you're going to be just fine. There's a doing here. And doing really dispels anxiety quite a bit, right? So just do. Put yourself into motion. And don't forget that all of it is for you. All of it, right? You've got this. Thank you for being here. If this is where we part ways, thanks for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe, come back, And yeah, take care. If you keep going, I'll see you in the next one. Hey, pile number 3. All right, we have had interesting readings so far. Let's see what you've got. Next 10 days, they've been really profound. Let's keep going and see what we come up with for you. All right, Crown Games, right use of power. Okay, so let's talk about this card. This card is about accountability, but it's in the way that we appropriate the concept of power, right? So the concept of power versus force, right? Or will versus force, things like that. You can either choose to be in power, or you can choose to wield power, right? There's a difference. One is a state and one is an external push, right? And so anytime you're pushing something, you create that anti, you create the backlash. So this is about how you consciously or unconsciously choose to utilize your will. There's a difference between will and power, right? This is about your sovereignty. This is about your dignity. This is about the way that you choose to utilize your connectedness, right? Crown games. Ultimately, when we're talking about power as an extension of the crown, right? In reality, the crown is something that is supposed to connect you in a divine way to source. That's the whole concept, right? Consider there were days, like, and I'm talking about ancient history here, where the guy who was the strongest, the guy who could beat up the most people, kill the most people, assert his power in the loudest way, in the most brutal way, got to be the king. However, the true nature of the crown is the way that you are deeply and most connected with the divine. If you think about Pharaoh, right? And I'm talking about pre-ancient Egypt, where we have the new growth pyramids, the new growth ancient, right? No, the original is who is most deeply connected, right? How are you witnessing things as an extension of the depth of connectedness to the most high, to the divine, right? This language that we now appropriate for religion is really about who is most deeply connected to that which is the source. Okay, so that's a big one. Let's start there and keep going. Pile number 3. So, right, we have an inkling of what we're doing. The River Queen. Okay, so beautiful. This is about flow, letting go, natural movement. So lovely, right? This is that beautiful, sensual, flowing energy, right? This is how we surrender. This is how we choose not to be perfect, but to be instead. How we witness that every obstacle is an opportunity, right? There's a big boulder. Okay, let's flow around it. That's okay. I don't have to be stunted by the things that are present in my experience. I can choose to make them part of my dance, right? Now, here's the deal. If you are trusting of the process, if you are choosing to witness everything as an expression of that divine, then you don't even see an obstacle, air quoting, as an obstacle. You see it as just an outcropping of your own divinity, right? Beautiful, brilliant, absolutely lovely. Let me just move along with this and see where it takes me, right? I don't have to drive it. I don't have to become its master. I can just choose to master the surrender. Big difference. Okay. So, control. This, in this deck, is equivalent to the Chariot. So here's the deal. I like it, right? So we have a warrior ready for battle, and we have the witnesser. Sorry, my cat is chasing window birds right now, which I love, because bless her heart, she thinks she's in control. Anyway, this is about how we're going to master, right? Or whether we're going to be influenced by things in the periphery. So are we going to be ruled by emotion or intellect, right? Are we going to be ruled by head or heart? The key here is that we don't want to be trying to dominate. We also don't want to be fully in submission, right? We want to be in active choice. Active surrender allows for flow, right? Active surrender allows for source to move through us and for us to move as source. So the action, right, is outside of our control. What is in our control is ourselves as the chooser. You see how there's a little give and take there? This is about not moving with anger, about moving with compassion. This is about making the choice based on where you believe your highest and best is being served. And so it's about constantly surrendering to the messaging from the divine. It's about how you choose to walk while listening to what is behind the word, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You have the brawler. How exciting. Lack of empathy and confrontation. Now, interesting, right? We have, okay, so let's talk about this for a second here. Right, you have this control card with this warrior. You have the brawler here. You have crown games, right? Use of power. We also have over here Mercury in Aries, which was our collective message. This card, I'm real excited about pulling this card because in the first one we had Aries in the sun in Aries, and then we had Mars. So far in this reading alone, out of a possible 72 cards, we have 3 Aries cards so far. I'm really anxious. If this is an Aries card, I'm gonna freak out a little bit. But anyway, so this energy here is this force energy, right? We're going right back to this message. This is about quick action. This is about bold action. This is about perhaps a little bit rude, maybe a little bit brash, right? This is reactive energy. So this is that coming in hot without taking stock of the whole situation, right? This is, in our example here, as we approach the boulder, instead of flowing around the boulder, I'm just going to beat myself against, right? What is it that they say in Legends of the Fall? He was the rock against which they broke themselves, right? So this is that energy of, I'm going to just keep at this. And what happens is that you just get tired. You just wear yourself out, right? You wear yourself out instead of using this concept of connected flow to move around a thing. Everything does not require your confrontation. Everything does not require your engagement. That's what discernment is all about, right? Judgment is about you out there. I see you and I'm going to manage you. Discernment is managing yourself in relation to a thing, right? Discernment is self-reflexive. Judgment is out there. Discernment versus judgment. discernment versus judgment, discernment versus judgment, discernment versus judgment, right? Where do we do the most good for ourselves? Where do we utilize our emotion, but also our intellect? Are we displaying lack of empathy? Are we coming into confrontation? Or are we going to use compassion? Are we going to elevate our perspective and choose the higher perspective as opposed to the 3D? Right? You get to make the choice. There are consequences, always, right? There are always consequences to coming in hot. So what is your urge to conflict telling you? What's the message in your tendency to square up? Question. That's a question. What is it you think you're controlling? Would you prefer to control yourself? Maybe. Okay. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know why. Let's see. Come on. Come on. Come on. Really? I mean, I use these cards all the time. They're always shuffled. This is not like a shuffling error. This is very direct. Okay. Venus and Aries. Lust. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? This is Aries energy that we're talking about here. And so if we're talking about the need to assert yourself, lust is about the need to possess, the need to obsess, the need to get, right? So this is the language of our engagement, right? The language of our engagement. How do we go after a thing, right? Do we go after it like a big giant volcano? Do we go after it like a caveman? Do we go in there? You know, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Are we a wrecking ball? Or are we an invitation? Are we charming? Are we inviting? Or are we a sledgehammer? Right? Are you beckoning? Are you a siren? Or are you a demander, right? How are you using your diplomacy, right? Venus is all about diplomacy. Yeah, okay. Putting aside the implications of 4 out of 72 cards being Aries cards, and and the theme of the weekly What's Up having been vision and then do, right? I'm going to link that video into the comments because I think it's important to witness, especially with Neptune at 29 degrees as I'm recording this. Where are your illusions, right? Where are your beliefs? Anyway, okay. What does it mean to you? It means that you're choosing. You're choosing the way that you invite your experience in, right? Aries energy is about action. It's about doing. It's about being the active participant, right? The active ingredient, for lack of a better. So what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Oh, look, I didn't even see this. You have 2 8s also. Oh, boy. Phenomenal, right? What are you devoting your energy to, right? How are you connecting with the divine, or are you not connecting with the divine at all? That's a great question. Are you connecting with the divine, or are you just being immersed in your 3D experience? Or are you choosing connection, right? Venus is always connected, but she has a lot to do with the 3D, right? Her experience is all about the tangible, right? What does your experience look like, taste like, smell like, feel like, sound like? What is it that you're creating around you? But what is the source? Okay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Venus in Aries gets you arrows. Come on. I love this reading. Okay. So this is a card about passion, right? Right? It's about why. Here's the deal. On the highest, this is about the state of humanity, the state of your humanity specifically. Why do you want what you want? Why do you feel the way you feel? Why do you become inspired by or tripped or triggered by? What is the nature of that which you desire, right? What is the nature of that which you desire? And how do you set about getting it? Why do you want it, right? Why do you want to feel that certain way? Why are you inspired by this thing? What is it that's lighting the fire in you? What is it that's lighting the fire in you? And are you willing to trust the universe to deliver it to you? Are you? Are you? Right? Aries is that energy that says, I'm going to get it. I'm going to go get it right now. Well, are you sure that's the way you want to try to live your life? Do you really want to steer it all the time? Do you have to steer it all the time? Is that really your right use of energy? Is it that you're here to manage your circumstances through 3D means? Or perhaps, perhaps are you being offered the insight that there's a completely different way to go about what it is that you desire as a manifestation in your actual experience? You gonna fight for it? Well, I mean, here's the deal. If you have to fight for it, the question becomes, is it actually worth it, or are you just sparring to spar? If you have to fight for something, do you believe that that something is the authentically correct and resonant choice for you? If you have to fight for it? Or is what's yours always yours because it's yours? Well, I mean, let's be real. Let's take it for example in a relationship. If you have to fight for a partner, is that really your partner? If you have to win the affections of someone, are they really your someone? If it's a battle to keep a thing, is it really belonging to you? These are just questions. I don't have your answers. I can only say I know how I would answer those questions. And at this stage of my life, I know how I would feel about what it is that I want to choose to give my energy to. You have the 6 of Cups, the 9 of Cups, the 10 of Wands, and Strength. Listen to me. Here's the thing. Because you're in charge of your emotional state, and you already know on the deepest level, on the true connected level, you know what unconditional love looks like, feels like, tastes like, smells like, and sounds like. You know this. You do. And the only way that you can display it is to get rid of the crap that is told to you by movies, by stories that come down to you about how you got to go out and fight for it. Well, I would suggest to you, in fact, no, you don't, right? The nature of what you want is always that primal desire. You know what it is. And if you have to go out in pursuit of that thing that you desire, is it really the right thing for you? Or are you simply asserting your 3D level of I want over what you actually desire? Now, you're going to have to think about that one. Is it just an I want? Or is it an I want? I desire. This is I want. This is I desire. The difference is I see that, I want it. I see that, I want it. I see that, I want it. This is a 3D based choice, right? The thing there is you can get over-satiated by an I want. You can have too much of an I want. You absolutely can. You cannot get too much of an I desire. When you're talking about what you desire, that's a state. I desire love. I desire support. I desire approval. I desire safety. These are the things I desire. I want money. I want power. I want control. I want assent. I want nobody to argue with me. I want everyone to do what I say. I want my experience to be in my control. The nature of that I want is I desire, right? Get in touch with the I desire and watch what happens. Watch how that primal need to be as love, that primal need to experience intimacy and union and connectedness, right? These are the trappings of this 3D experience. But the expression always remains the expression, right? You're in control of it all the time. You pick up shit along the way that comes along with you. And the bottom line is you're being invited to create the strength within you to understand the difference. Sure, I want that. Do I desire it? What's my programming been telling me about those things, right? What have I been conditioned to believe is true? Do I get down with this concept of my tribal DNA basic need as what I want? I see it, I want it, I see it, I want it, I see it, I want it, I see it, I want it. I'm an accumulator. Right? I have to save it. I've got to spread my DNA. I've got to have as many kids as I can, right? That's that tribal nonsense mindset. Or instead, do I elevate my perspective and step into the I desire? What I desire is union. Oh shit, yeah, look at that. What I desire is connectedness. What I desire is the grandest, most brilliant and beautiful connected emotional experience. And I'm going to choose to put down whatever it is that doesn't agree with that, right? I'm going to witness the fact that I understand that I want is fully different than I desire. Okay. I don't know why. I feel like we got there quickly for you guys. It's about programming, right? This is just about programming. This is about witnessing your I self as something other than it is, right? It's about this element of rawness. It's about the need to be assertive and active in terms of aggression. 7 of Pentacles. What can you wait for? Versus how can I be open to receiving? Right? There's an opportunity to witness the difference between push and receive. Right? You do the same action. I'm pushing or I'm receiving. Right? This is about receiving. These are about receiving, right? Receiving. Receiving. The balance is you. Witnessing the way that you are going to choose your point of action, right? Do you need to master, or do you need to master yourself? Good question, right? Do you need to dominate, or do you need to dominate yourself? Do you need to submit, or do you need to submit as yourself, right? Why are you coming in hot? Why are you coming in hot? Is it that I want is leading you? Then pay attention. I want clarity on the 10 of Wands. Come on. Look at that. You get the 10 of Wands on the 10 of Wands. What are you going to put down? Right? You have said yes to all this trapping nonsense over here. You have, and remember, 10 of Wands is I want. Wands is the, yeah, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. I like it. That turns me on. That's exciting. I love that, right? 10 of Wands is way too much of that. So find the places in your life where you have said yes to too many things, where you have chosen to hold out your hand in too many different directions. And now you have so much you can't enjoy it, right? Here's the deal. All of this collectedness, all of this, I mean, just think about it. As you have all your hands out, right? Here, I have this, and I've got, my hands are full, so full of all this crap I've said yes to, that I have no way to say, look at that. Look at that. Would you look at that, right? So how can you choose to change your capacity? Well, I mean, that's what we're doing. How can you get from 10 of Wands to 10 of Cups? You have to put down everything that doesn't resonate as love, right? Everything that doesn't, everything that does not hold up the fact that you are an expression of this divinity, that you are 100% in consent to allow for every obstacle to move you in a different direction. Every time you try to say, no, I want to go that way, right? That's another wand. That's another wand. Okay. Yeah. Oh boy. All of this Aries energy, right? I mean, come on, 4 out of 72 possible cards came up as Aries. That's amazing. So this is the I. This draws you right back to yourself every single time. It's you. Do you want or do you desire? Right? There's a difference. That discernment, that delicate event horizon of where you're going to choose to put your attention is everything. It's absolutely everything. Listen, success is about the joy I feel, right? Again, cups. What do you feel? What have you been told you feel versus what do you really feel? All these cups, right? The King of Wands. I master my desire, right? It's no longer about piddly I want. No, I desire. We move our focus, right? So, all right. When you are genuinely thrilled by someone else's success, that means you're on the right track of your own. Success is not about getting it done. The measure of success in life is not the attainment of the money or the stuff. Doggone. The measure of success is absolutely the amount of joy you feel. Encapsulation of a message right there. Thank you, Jerry and Esther. Yeah, the measure of success is never about the attainment. It's never about the I want. The measure of success is absolutely about the amount of joy you feel. It's about the I desire, right? So whatever is going on for you in the next 10 days, my pile number 3s, wow, do I wish you super blessings. Pay attention. Pay attention to the why behind every choice you make. Pay attention to the why behind every impulse you have. Pay attention to the why and ask yourself, what's my motivation here? What is my purpose? What is my reason? Why am I engaged or disengaged, right? What is my long-term goal? Am I creating an experience that is based on my desire? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Anyway, my amazing pile number 3s, I wish you nothing but the best. It's going to be an interesting 10 days, that's for doggone sure. Hit like, hit subscribe, come back, let me know how it goes, because I want to hear about this. Be blessed. Take care. Thanks for being here, no matter how long you were here. And, yeah, take good care and be blessed.